So 1 year driving on this 2023 GMC Sierra Denali 1500 pickup truck, and we've put 18,504 miles on this truck. Looks like the tire pressure dropped down a little bit in the last couple of days due to the cold front that came through. We're averaging on this tank 21 miles per gallon with a truck average of 22.2 miles per gallon, which is still pretty dang good considering the fact this truck has only seen city driving lately. Let's talk about this thing. Hang tight, I'll be right back. What's going on, guys? So welcome back. Welcome inside of our 2023 GMC Sierra Denali 1500 truck. We've had this truck for a year and a few days, and I wanted to give you guys a 1 year update on this truck and what it's been like owning it. Again, 18,504 miles on it, so we are definitely above average in terms of driving. I know a lot of people out there are going to say that's nothing. That's like a tiny amount of driving, which is true for a lot of folks. But the average miles that you typically see on most vehicles after 1 year of ownership is usually between 10 and 12,000 miles. So we are definitely over that. Okay, so we bought this truck in late 2022 with the idea of testing it out and seeing how we loved it over a 1 year period. We specifically got this truck with the 3-liter LZO Duramax diesel engine, or the baby Duramax diesel, because we had heard so many good things about it. We've towed with this truck nearly 20 times over the last year, and we've also towed near its max by hauling the dump trailer to the landfill several times, as well as connecting it to the new Surveyor. So we have a pretty good idea of how this thing is in terms of capability, how it handles payload, how it tows, and the fuel economy you get when you're not towing and when you are towing. So before we talk about towing, let's talk about reliability. We have not had a single part, single component, single accessory on this truck fail in any way. The truck has performed flawlessly. The truck has given us absolutely no problems at all. And I expected that. I did not expect to have any type of mechanical issues. Our roof wasn't cracking. We haven't had any issues with the truck leaking. We haven't had any issues with the truck not starting or starting in an awkward way. Everything's been working really well on the truck. And believe it or not, this has kind of been our everyday driver. We've tried to put as many miles on this as possible while somehow still accumulating about 5,000 miles on the red truck and about 6,000 miles on my wife's Expedition. So we've been doing a lot of driving this year, but the majority of those miles have definitely gone on this GMC Denali. Now let's talk about fuel economy. So the fuel economy in this truck has been pretty dang consistent. When we first got the truck, we did some long trips in it just to kind of see what the maximum fuel economy we could get out of this truck on the highway was. And believe it or not, we got upwards of 33 to 34 miles per gallon on the highway in a full-size half-ton truck with a baby diesel engine in it. That was absolutely insane. It blew us away, and it absolutely even blew the numbers on the sticker away. So we are very impressed with the performance of this truck from a fuel economy standpoint on the highway. Now, as things heated up during summer, that dropped a little bit. So we saw the fuel economy numbers drop on the highway a bit, down to about 30 miles per gallon on the highway. But when it came to city driving, you can easily squeak out 24, 25 miles per gallon if you're very light-footed on it. If you drive normally, you're probably going to be between 21 and 24 miles per gallon, again, depending on what you call normal. By comparison, most of its competition see about 21 miles per gallon on the highway. So that's a really interesting point whenever you think about it. This truck performs in the city like most full-size trucks perform on the highway in terms of fuel economy. Now let's talk about something that really doesn't matter to me, but it probably matters to a lot of other folks that are out there, especially folks that get these in a higher performance package with the 6.2-liter V8 engine versus the 3-liter diesel, and that's going to be performance and acceleration. This truck for us accelerates much faster than we ever need it to accelerate. We've never had any problem merging into traffic or getting onto an expressway or a highway and getting up to speed quickly. And there's always been extra room for acceleration if we wanted to go faster. Now, most people that get in this truck and they think this 3-liter Duramax is going to be a slouch, and then I floor it and they feel how it kind of sucks them into the seat, they're kind of shocked by how much power this truck produces. And I think for the most part, when you buy a truck like this, only a very, very small percentage of buyers are looking for just sheer performance out of this truck from an acceleration standpoint. But if that's you, they do have a gas V8, which gets far worse fuel economy than this truck that you can opt for, and you can have that pull you in your seat performance. But for me, this truck pulls me in my seat as much as I need to be pulled in my seat, considering the fact that I have an F450, which is much slower than this truck, yet still feels fast for a big truck. Now let's talk about things that we love about this truck and some things that we might prefer be a little different. First of all, we absolutely love the Google assistant that comes in this truck. It's part of the infotainment system, just the ability for you to say, hey Google, ask interesting questions, ask it to do different things like adjust the air conditioning system, change to different menus, navigate you to a certain area has been absolutely amazing. Our daughter loves the feature. She's always asking it questions and just random stuff, which really amps up that infotainment system value whenever you're on a long trip or even a short trip. We also love the headlight output on this truck. This truck has absolutely fantastic headlights on it, which, believe it or not, that's a huge perk whenever you have a vehicle and you're driving at night. The LED headlights cast a wonderful swath, great cutoff line, get a lot of light on the road, and they look fantastic, and they've done a great job with the lighting on this truck. We've also really grown to love the multi-pro tailgate. It really takes owning a truck like this for you to appreciate all the functions of that tailgate, for you to be able to use it in the multiple ways that it allows you to use it. Now for us, we've only used it really in a few ways that actually matter. Using it as a seat, well, any tailgate can be used as a seat. We use it as a step to get into the bed, which is a good one. We use it as a means to get closer to the bed by opening up the inner tailgate, which is also a really, really good function. And I've used it a few times whenever I've had to load things in the back of the truck that are super heavy and extend out the back to where I can still close the cover and I can have the small tailgate down and have something sticking out the back. That has really, really been helpful for us. But I think probably the number one reason why I like that tailgate is just the fact that I can get closer to the bed whenever I'm loading or unloading things, especially heavy stuff. It really, really matters. And I like the stance of the truck being a little bit lower because it means I can actually reach into the bed to get things out as well. I'm not a fan of big lifted trucks. Personally, I think it takes some of the usefulness and the practicality out of a truck when you do that. And our 450 is not a lifted truck, but it still is certainly high enough that it can be difficult getting things out of the bed of the truck. Now, another thing we love is the look of the truck. The look of this truck is absolutely gorgeous, in our opinion. We have so many folks that come up and just say, wow, that's a beautiful Denali. And everyone refers to it as a Denali. Very few people come up and say that's a beautiful GMC truck. So there's a certain kind of status that people associate with a Denali pickup truck. And it's pretty obvious because very, very few people actually say, hey, that's a beautiful GMC truck or that's a beautiful truck. They'll usually say, man, that's a beautiful Denali pickup truck. Now let's talk about some things that we don't really care for. And these are some things that you've probably already heard about over the last several videos over the last year. So first and foremost, the lack of 12-volt outlets in this truck is actually very disappointing. I really wish that they would put 12-volt outlets back in the truck, mainly because there are so many accessories that still require them. Yes, you can buy certain adapters that are out there, but most of those adapters are used to convert like a 5-volt plug to a 12-volt plug, which is not the route you want to go. What I generally believe is that you should have at least 2 to 3 12-volt outlets in every pickup truck. Again, so many folks still have things that require 12-volt outlets. If you don't, you specifically don't, then you're probably in the minority. I believe most people, especially if you tow, you're going to have something that requires a 12-volt outlet. There's still a lot of things that you buy, like mini air compressors and backup cameras and all sorts of different things that still require 12-volt outlets. And I think that GM went the wrong direction by removing them. And honestly, I feel the only people who don't care about them are people who just don't have anything that use them. But I believe there's a lot more people that actually would find value in having a 12-volt jack than just having a USB-C or a standard USB charging jack, because those USB jacks do not do a good job charging your phone. Ask anybody. They barely trickle charge your phone, and quite frankly, they're almost embarrassing, and they don't put enough of them in the truck anyways in the first place. They really need to put some quick chargers in these trucks, and for me personally, I don't see a lot of value in a wireless charger for me. I know a lot of folks do, but that's just me personally. Secondly, the seats. Yeah, the seats haven't gotten any more comfortable. I've tried taking the little padded cushions out just to see if the seats have gotten any more broken in or more comfortable over the year. They haven't. I really think GM needs to go a different direction with at least the bottom bolstering of their seats. That said though, once we put the 1.5-inch memory foam pads on the bottom, they're a lot more comfortable. So we were able to work around the seat issue, and that honestly to me might have been a reason why we didn't keep the truck if we didn't have a solution for the uncomfortable seats. But yeah, GM really needs to work on the seat comfort, in my opinion. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about towing. So again, we've towed a lot with this truck. We've towed the Surveyor, we've towed almost every trailer back there except the gooseneck, and I can tell you that this thing tows pretty dang well, aside from the fact that the back suspension is very soft. And what I mean by that is when we hook up the Surveyor with weight distribution, and we've only used it with the B&W Continuum hitch, or just a traditional hitch whenever we're hooking up to some of the other trailers, the back feels like it bottoms out very easily. It feels like you have very little suspension space left, and it can make for a pretty jarring ride. Considering the fact that this truck is so smooth and comfortable during normal driving, whenever we hook up to the Surveyor, because we have the B&W Continuum and we can dial it in so we don't have the back suspension sag as much, it's not nearly as bad. But whenever we're hooked up to like the dump trailer, which weighs about as much as the Surveyor, whenever we hook up to some of the other cargo trailers, utility trailers, aside from the super compact gray cargo trailer that we have, which only weighs like 3,000 pounds, you definitely feel the weight over the back, you definitely feel the suspension compressing, and you definitely can feel the suspension bottom out anytime you hit any type of a bump or expansion in the road or any type of a pothole. You really feel the suspension bottom out on the truck. From a towability perspective, the truck tows pretty dang well. Would not tow a travel trailer larger than the Surveyor with this truck. I just don't think it makes sense. You definitely can tell how light this truck is. This truck doesn't weigh nearly as much as a 3/4 ton truck. It doesn't have the wheelbase of a 3/4 ton truck, and because of that weight difference, you can really tell when you're towing something heavier behind it. And again, for long trips, I definitely would not tow over 6,500 pounds with this truck. Considering the maximum tow rating on this truck is 8,800 pounds, but the actual cargo capacity on this truck is around 1,400 pounds. Again, if you plan on towing a larger travel trailer or a larger trailer in general, you're very likely to exceed your payload capacity on the truck before you exceed your truck's towing capacity. And remember, both numbers matter. So let's talk about fuel economy when towing. Now we're going to talk specifically about towing the Forest River Surveyor and not the dump trailer, because when we towed the dump trailer, it was relatively empty. Even though it weighs about as much as the Surveyor is larger, it's taller, and it's going to have a greater wind profile. So it's going to take away more from your fuel economy than the dump trailer would. We averaged about 14 to 16 miles per gallon while towing the travel trailer. That is pretty dang insane. That is really, really impressive, and it was much better than we thought we would get. So I can honestly tell you that towing a travel trailer with this truck exceeds the fuel economy that we got with my wife's Expedition. It exceeds the fuel economy that we get with bigger trucks or trucks with bigger engines. So we're very impressed with the fuel economy all around with this baby Duramax engine. And I really think that if you're looking for a truck that gets ridiculously good fuel economy, that has a lot of great amenities, a lot of luxury, and a lot of capabilities, as long as you understand where its limits are, this is probably a truck worth looking at. It doesn't need to be in a Denali trim. If you want to save some money, you can save like $15,000 by going to a lower trim truck with the same engine platform in it and same four-wheel drive system. So there's a lot of reasons to look at these newer GMC trucks with this baby Duramax, and even the Chevy trucks with the baby Duramax inside of them, because they give you an absolutely insane value when it comes to fuel economy. Now, a lot of people are going to say you pay a lot more for the Duramax, but in the case of these smaller Duramaxes, you actually don't. If you compare the premium cost of this Duramax to, say, the 6.2 liter V8 or the smaller V8, you actually only pay about $1,500 more than the smaller V8, and you pay less than the 6.2 liter gas V8. So this is comfortably in the middle price-wise between the two. This is not like a $10,000 option like you see on heavier duty trucks. And again, I think the performance would be the only issue some people might have, but it's not an issue for us. I think this is an absolutely fantastic truck, and we've loved having it for the last year, and we'll probably end up keeping it just because it's so great on fuel economy. We might get another truck to evaluate for a year, but I think we'll hold on to this one because it's hard to give up a truck that's performed so well and get such great fuel economy just to get a truck that doesn't. So if we get another vehicle, we'll probably end up keeping this one. Guys, please leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.